G'day and welcome back to the garage. In previous videos, the RM250 engine was removed from the bike, cleaned and stripped down for assessment. The cases were hydro-blasted and a bunch of new parts were ordered. A new engine stand was also fabricated specifically for this build. In this video we'll begin the assembly process, starting with the bottom end. Let's get started. Before any of the rotating assemblies can be installed, the bearings need to be fitted to the cases. Most of the bearings are an interference fit. That means that the bearing diameter is slightly larger than the case, but that's under normal temperatures. If we heat the case to expand it and cool the bearings to shrink it, we should get a clearance fit, allowing the bearings to be installed without damage. I thought I'd take some measurements to prove this theory. At normal ambient temperature, the main bearing housing measures 61.950mm. A new main bearing measures up at 61.987mm. As expected, there's an interference fit. The bearing is 0.037mm larger than the housing. After an hour or so in the freezer, I'll take another measurement of the bearing diameter. And this time it's smaller, 61.970mm. It's shrunk ever so slightly, by under 0.02 of a millimetre. And now it's time to heat the cases in the oven, and it's also a good time for a lunch break. Using the oven gently heats the whole case, preventing warpage. I measure the housing in the same way as before, but this time the risk of getting burnt is much higher. At about 100 degrees Celsius, the case measures 62.058mm, a decent increase of over 0.1mm. And that gives us a final clearance of 0.088mm, enough for the bearings to simply drop into place. Back in the garage, the right-hand case is mounted on the stand, ready for the crankshaft and gearbox to be installed. But first, all of the bearings are pre-oiled. Off camera, the crankshaft, along with all of the other reused parts, are thoroughly cleaned before installation. From here, assembly is just a matter of reversing the disassembly process. Care is taken to make sure everything is clean and tidy, and that everything is aligned and operates as it should. And a parts manual, along with a workshop manual, also come in handy. With the cases back together and the bolts tight, that's where we'll leave this episode. Keep an eye out for part 2 of the engine assembly, where the bottom end of the engine will be completed. Thanks for watching, see you next time.